I don't have time. It's the most heard phrase that I hear it a lot. Every time someone is talking to you about their goals, about what they want to do, they want to achieve. And they always, if they're not a high achiever, if they're not achieving the goals on a daily basis, or they've been spending years without achieving those goals, they always want to tell you, I don't have time. That's the most sick. And the second one is I don't have money. But it's all correlated. And that's why I want to share with you my perspective on that. I want to share with you how you can actually learn and stop saying that phrase. Like, you have time. We all have the same time during the day. We all have 24 hours during the day. No one has more, no one has less. But some people are doing 10 times, 20 times more than other people. And the people who are doing a lot, those are people succeeding. Those are people achieving. Those are people that are rich. Those are people that are achieving every area of their life. They find time for the family. They find time for everything. So I want to talk to you if you always tell yourself you don't have time, but you're not a CEO. You're not building 4 companies at the same time. You're not Jeff Bezos. You're not building things like Elon Musk, but you never have time. So where does your time go? Ask yourself that. Where does your time go? So I want to talk to you about 4 things that you can do to create time in your life. Actually, it's not to create time, it's to find time and to use the time for the right things in your life, right? So my name is Arthur, and I believe that freedom is what everyone wants, but we are too scared to admit it. So we accept to live in mediocrity. You accept to live in a life that you don't want because, first of all, you've never heard or you've never learned how to create that freedom. And to have that freedom, you necessarily have to have enough money or to be independent, financially wise. And I want to share that passion that I have in mind, because freedom to me is the most important thing. And freedom will give you time. Freedom will give you money if you use it the right time. And I want to help people through this channel. I want to help people through everything I share to change their perspective about freedom, to change their perspective about their life, to realize that they can actually achieve a lot more, right? And entrepreneurship is one of those vehicles that will help you become free. Investing is another vehicle that will help you become free. And designing the life you want, creating the life you want, spending enough time with your family, is that's what you want. Making time for charities, is that what you want. All those contribute to feeling free. And that's the best feeling of the world. So let's come back to it. I wanted to share with you my 4 things that I'm doing to create time when I have a goal, when I set myself a goal. So that said, if you don't have a goal, you will not be motivated to create some time or to find the time to achieve it. You will just use the time and do the things that other people want you to do. That's what is happening when you are at work. You're working on the project, someone is coming and giving you another task, you're just doing that task because you're not focusing enough on that project. You're not able to say, no, this time, now I don't have enough time. So you're telling your boss or your colleague that you won't be able to do that now because you need to finish this task, right? And it's the same in life. It's the same in life. So you have to set yourself a goal first. This is the prerequisite for the 4 things to work. If you don't do that, there's no point trying to say, I'm going to prioritize my time to do what? You're not going to prioritize your time to always be chilling. That's not prioritizing. That's easy. You always find time for that, right? Because it's a good feeling. It's like, eating junk food is always easier than eating, vegetables and everything if you haven't trained yourself to do that. That's the same thing. Like the same way you train yourself to eat healthy, so that your body wants you to eat healthy. You don't want junk food, don't want pizza or fat hamburgers. That's the same way you train yourself to be focused and to prioritizing your time on the important tasks, on the important goals, on the important outcomes. So 4 things. The first thing, and I'm talking to people, if you're basically never going to find time or you're struggling to find time because you have a job and it's demanding and you have a family, and they demand of your time, which is normal, right? So how do you then find a little time? So if you're working, for example, 4 things. The first thing is you have 24 hours in a day. So you will realize that you don't need to sleep 8-9 hours a day. You don't necessarily, but you need to sleep well. That's not the same thing. You need to sleep well. So you have to look into your sleep pattern and to look at what is disturbing you from sleeping well. Like, if you're not sleeping well, if you always feel like you're not refreshed when you're waking up in the morning, look at your sleeping pattern. Before you go to bed, what do? Are you watching a lot of TV? Are you watching a lot of negative news that are basically entering your subconscious mind? That's psychology. That's mindset. That's true. That's how it works, right? If you always into a negative mood, you might not sleep well. You might basically things like that. If you not eating well, it's the same thing. You might not sleep well because you're not eating well, because you're not listening to your body. If you don't know exactly what's the right diet for you, like, so look at your sleeping pattern and look at how well you sleep. This is the start to reducing your hours of sleep. You don't need 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, especially when you're not that busy during the day. And even when you're busy during the day, you don't need that. Do you drink enough water? So the 3 things that I'm doing for my sleeping pattern is drinking water. I drink enough water, and I drink water when I wake up, and I drink water before I go to bed. Yeah, you will tell me that you might wake up, but your body needs water to actually, refresh itself, to actually get energy back. So you're not going to sleep a lot if you drink enough water. The second thing is your diet. Do you know your diet? There are certain foods that you shouldn't eat after a certain time. Let's say after 8 p.m. I don't eat carbs. I don't eat certain food. I don't eat sugar, all those things. So look at your diet, like sleeping. And you have a sleeping pattern. Let's say maybe you have a 2-hour cycle. When you sleep, you have 3-hour cycle. I don't know, that we have different sleeping patterns. I know that I need to sleep either 4 hours out of 6 hours. So if I sleep 4 hours, I can be fine for 2-3 days, right? If I sleep 6 hours, yes, but I can sleep 7.5 hours and I'm tired. Yes. So I can actually reduce my sleeping time, sleep 6 hours, and I'll be really, really refreshed compared to if I sleep 7.5 hours. So I gain 1.5 hours without actually, reducing my level of energy. So I gain time while I'm basically have more energy. So it means I'm going to do a lot more. I can focus a lot more during that time that I actually gained. So the sleeping pattern, that's the first thing. And I want to share with you something. It's just a little thing, but if you don't know that, sometimes you don't understand, is you improve what you focus on. If you improve on your sleeping pattern, if you start reading books about it, if you start reading books about how you can sleep better, you will realize you will improve it. I was talking to my friend the other day, Dan, and that's what he's doing right now. He's basically, he has improved his sleeping pattern. He wasn't sleeping very well before, and now he's sleeping so well because he started focusing on that and implementing everything he learns about it. So the sleeping pattern is the first thing. The second thing is you commuting either in the car or in metro or whatever. Use that time to listen to audio so that you're learning how to do the things that you want to achieve. In the car or in the underground or whatever, you can listen to audio. You can learn every time. You can get your mind sharpened, get your brain sharpened every single time. That's time there that you can use audiobooks, webinars. You can listen to webinars. You can listen to all those things. You can listen to, even books. Whatever you want to do, you can always find the audio version so that you can actually listen to that instead of listening to music all the time, again and again and again. And sometimes, music that's not well for you. Some music are good for relaxing, but if you want to create time, that's time there during commuting where you can actually listen to audiobooks. You can actually really hone and even train yourself during that time. It's so important. The third thing that I'm doing and that I think everyone should do, it's You need to set yourself priorities, before your day. So you need to plan. If you want to focus on something, right, you need to think about it. As I said, if you want to improve on something, you need to focus on that. If you want to achieve a certain specific goal, you have to book that time on your calendar. You have to intentionally think about it beforehand. Because if you don't plan it, if you don't put it in your calendar, as I said, people will always want your attention. Either is when you're watching something on your phone and you have an ad popping up, and you will start watching that ad or watching that new video that your friend sent you as well. Either is another thing, your boss is going to come and always have an emergency, even though 2 hours before, the boss gave you already like important tasks. Everything is important, everything is urgent for them. You have to have your calendar booked with the focus time that you want, and you need to remove out everything else that you haven't decided to focus on for that day, for that week. So that time will be specific for the task that you want to do. That's how you create time, actually. You create time by acting on your time to 24 hours. You have the sleeping time, you have the commuting time. Now you have dedicated time to what you want to do. You book it in your calendar. There's a saying, the calendar is your boss. So you book in your calendar, it becomes your boss. If you book it in your calendar, you achieve it, you do it. Try it one day, you will see. Try it one day. That will eliminate all the distractions because you've already set the time. So you won't be saying, I don't have time to do that. No, you've decided that you're going to take that time to do it. You booked it. So that time is there. So you have that time. And the other rest is not important. So why would you even think about giving your time to things that are not important? That's the third thing that I'm doing. And the last thing that I wanted to share with you in terms of how to create time. Actually, it's not something about the time. It's more about the focus on the energy. That's why I started by telling you about sleeping pattern. Because you will realize, maybe you've experienced it before, when you're passionate about something, let's say the time flies. Time flies. Why? Because you don't see the time pass. Because you're so engaged into what you're doing, you don't see the time pass. That's the same thing when you have the focus and the energy really into what you're doing. Like you are in the moment. You will achieve a lot more by having that focus on that time that you specify for yourself. And you won't see the time pass. Actually, you have the feeling that you've spent 2 hours on something because you've done so much. And this is just about the focus. That's how you actually do a lot, because you have the attention span and you have the time you spend on it. And actually, the mind or the learning process or the way we learn, or actually the way what we accomplish mentally, it's the attention time multiplied by the attention span or the intensity of your focus. So you can spend 3 hours doing a task, but if you're not focused on that, you're not going to achieve more than someone who did half an hour but is completely focused on that. And this is how you actually create time, by doing more in every single unit of time that you have. And for doing that, you need to focus your mind on that. That's focus. That's focus. And it's also part of the planning process. I'll share that with you now. You have 3 ways to increase your focus. The first is to understand why you're doing what you're doing, the importance of that. Why is it important to achieve that goal? Why is it important to do this 2 hours on this? A good example, I have to spend time with my son. I want to teach him some values. Why is it important? Because I feel a good father. Because to me, as a father, it's my duty to prepare my son so that he's the best that he can be in this world. So it's important. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that and focus on that. Right? That's the first thing. Why? The second thing, how to increase focus, to eliminate all distractions while you're doing the task that you're doing. All distractions. Like if you at work, don't look at your emails. Close everything. Focus on that. You're home, don't look at your phone. Focus on what you're doing. Tell your spouse, right? That's your time. Train your children to understand when it's your time to work on your business when you're home. Train your boss to understand that when you focus, you need that focus time. Right? Eliminate distraction. That's the second way you can achieve great focus. Second way. And the last way you can achieve great focus, like really great focus, is before you do a task, do you always ask yourself, what's the intention, what's the objective here of this 1 hour that I'm going to spend on that task? Like the intention. Do you spend 5 seconds to say mentally, my intention is that? When you do that, you give it direction to your mind. You always come back. We always come back to mindset. When you do that, you give it direction to your mind, direction to your brain. This next 1 hour, my main objective, my outcome is this. So this is how you achieve this, because you have your why. So this is your purpose of that task. All right. Then you basically eliminate every distractions to steer you, because we are humans, right? That's normal. So we need to eliminate distractions that we don't get out of focus. And the third thing is, you set intentions before, so your brain is also in line with your focus. The brain is there. The brain is really into, I have a direction, because the brain is like the GPS. You give directions to your brain, and it figures out ways to get there. And this, I'm going to talk to you about that in another video, how to set goals and achieve them. Why is it important to set goals? And why is it important to set financial goals and to write those financial goals and to have ambitious financial goals that you feel like, oh, I don't know how to achieve them. Yes, you don't know your conscious mind don't know, your subconscious mind will find a way to get there. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you about focus. So I hope you liked it. I hope you found something interesting into what I shared. And if it's the case, just, you have the subscribe button, just subscribe and hit the notification as well, like hit the clock. I'll share more and more about this and all those things to help you, especially people who are struggling with time, people who are basically working hard in their life. They deserve more. They deserve to have a lot more money, to earn more, to be financially free, to be geographically free, to spend the life they want, to create that life they want. And this is how I want to share with you all those tips. This is what it's about. So this one is really about, as you heard and as I told you about, it's important to be able to design that time, to own your time. And that starts there. Because even if you become financially free and you have a lot of time, you will waste your time if you don't know how to own your time, to design the life you want within the time frame that you have, to make the most out of your time. So thank you very much, and I'll talk to you in another video. Bye-bye.